Welcome to the podcast. I am a divine healer. I help people to heal and stay healed by understanding why they got sick in the first place, or to understand what was the cause of their unhappiness. We discover these things because all the work that we do together is at a soul level. So today we are going to start with a message here from the Christ letters. Beware of what you may be creating for yourself when you have no idea that you're doing it. Beware of those judgmental, critical thoughts which can harm another human being and can return to harm you also. Beware of those unguarded emotional moments when you wish certain circumstances or events on another. Destructive thoughts bring about destructive consequences. Have you found that things continually go wrong for you? Examine your attitudes and your thoughts about other people. Remember that electricity sends out the message and magnetism brings it back, sometimes with interest. Remember that when you look upon things with grave disfavor or irration, you are interfering with their natural vibrations, which make them what they are. Beware lest unwittingly that you bring your own house down around your ears. Beware when you contemplate the weather. Don't complain about the rain and say you wish it would stop. It may stop longer than you want it to. Don't complain about the sun and wish it would rain. It may come in floods. When you walk in Christ's way, my way, you will take everything in the world which is posing problems to divine consciousness, the Father, and ask for adjustments or needs which will be entirely suitable for you. And in this way, the Father, which is intimately connected with you, within you, and all around you, will respond with the right input of consciousness to put all things right for you. Now, what I really want to mention here, if you have the book, by the way, the Christ Consciousness book, that was page 363. What I really want to point out to you is how it is talking about judgmental and critical thoughts which can harm another human being and can also harm you. So when I was flying back from Oregon this last weekend here, I guess it was yesterday, I met this woman on the plane, on one of my plane rides, who was so fascinating to talk to, and she told me that her family was from over in Scotland, and so they had taken this trip back to see the country and to see the family heritage and whatnot. And upon going back, they had discovered that there was a curse that had been placed on the family. So her family, back in the day, was accused of stealing sheep from another family. And these two men in the family who were accused of stealing these sheep said, no, we didn't steal the sheep. No, we didn't do that. And wouldn't admit to it. And so the family that was accusing them, saying that they stole these sheep from, the woman in the house said, I'm cursing you. I'm cursing your family. You will never bear another male heir in your family. And so this curse went on, I can't remember how long ago. But when they went back and they looked at the family tree, and from when that occurred to present, there was not a male that was born in their family. And some of these families had 14 children, every single one of them women. So I want to say to you that your words are very powerful, and you don't need some special magical potions to curse somebody else. It is your words that hold vibration and that hold power within them. So you truly can bless or curse people with the words that you speak. Now, I'm going to give you an example here, and I mean, I've done this myself too. We all have, so you're totally going to understand what I'm saying. But let's say that you go out and everybody's visiting, and the vibes are great, and then all of a sudden you have some tragic story that happens to pop into your head, and it maybe loosely relates to, something that somebody was talking about, and so the vibes are super high, and then all of a sudden you share your story and you can feel the weight of those words. You can feel how, everybody was uplifted, haha, laughing, having fun, and then all of a sudden the vibe becomes low, heavy, and serious. So this is what I'm speaking about when I say that your words hold weight and they hold vibration. So let's say that you come across someone and they're having a really rough day. Well, you, in with your words and with your wisdom, you can be a blessing to this person by giving them uplifting words to help them to feel better, which most of us tend to do, right? If somebody's feeling really bad, we're not going to be like, oh, good thing you feel bad, you had whatever. We're not going to do this, right? We're going to try to make people feel better. But what we maybe don't think about is that every interaction that you have throughout a day can, in fact, make somebody feel better. But the only way that you can do this is when your own vibration is uplifted enough that you are able to do this, right? So let's say that you waitress in a restaurant, you can be a blessing to every single person that comes into your restaurant just by holding the vibration of you. If you've ever been having a bad day and you looked at somebody and somebody gave you a smile, it can instantly snap you out of it. It can make you think, ooh, there is hope. There is beautiful things in the world, right? So people can gift this wonderful thing, just something as simple as a smile, to you. But you can do the same thing for other people. And as you do this for other people, you will truly be blessed. Sometimes we don't even realize, that people need to hear certain words. Maybe you'll feel drawn to somebody. You're like, oh, I feel like I need to go and, give this person a hug, or I'm really feeling like I need to call this person, or I'm really feeling like I need to connect with this person. And then you do, and that person is like, oh, I'm so thankful, I was feeling really bad, and then you called me and I'm feeling so much better. Maybe this has happened to you in your life. I bet that it probably has. What happened in that situation was, because we are only living in the right now, and we can't live any other place than in the right now, your intuitive hit, your guidance system, this divine love that's all around you, told you, hey, do this and do this right now. Now, I want to point this out, that it didn't say to you, hey, in 3 days, I want you to go do this thing. No, it didn't, right? Because it tells you what to do in the right now. Now, I have screwed myself in the past by not listening to that internal guidance. And I'm so thankful that I did. So thankful, because it taught me to listen to it always, always, always. And so now, even if, something strange comes to me, or I feel like, oh, I need to go up and tell this random person over here who I've never met in my life something, I don't question it, and I don't care how it comes across, because my intent will be something good, and I trust and believe and know that it is the divine who has led me to this person. Let me give you an example. So we own this jiu-jitsu gym. And so I spent a lot of time going to jiu-jitsu tournaments over the years. And so I had a situation where I had been staying, I'm just flip-flopping back and forth here for a second. I had been staying at my friend's house, and I am leaving the house, and I kept hearing this voice telling me, check for your cell phone, check for your cell phone. And I ignored it. I ignored this thing because I was like, no. I was actually arguing with my own head, saying, nope, I know it's in my pocket or my purse, because it's always in my pocket or my purse. I don't need to check for nothing. So I leave the house, take the key, put it in a mailbox that cannot be opened once it gets dropped in there, go get in my car, and then I go to make a phone call, and my phone won't connect. Why? Because, of course, I had left it in the house like this voice had told me. So because the mailbox is now locked, and I have no way to now call someone and say, hey, I left my phone, because I don't have my phone to call and say I left my phone, I then end up having to go to another place. I think I went to Cabela's. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the divine loves me so much, it is almost like this was a joke, because the dude who was working at the counter happened to know my ex-husband and had personally sold him a gun, not from the store, but personally. So he had his number. What are the chances of that? There are no chances of that. That was the divine saying, hey, listen to me. And because I didn't listen, okay, I'm going to teach you a lesson, but I'm not going to make it that hard. Because how many people's phone numbers do you have memorized nowadays? I basically have none. I remember my childhood phone number from when I was a little kid, but we don't have these numbers anymore. So I was cared for in this way. But it was still a complete screw around to be able to go and get that key and get my phone back. But even at that moment in time when it was happening, I knew that this was a gift for me, because it was ensuring that I was not going to ignore this ever again. Why would you ignore something that then comes back to harm you? So back to the jiu-jitsu tournament. So, and I don't even know the outcome of this, but I'm going to tell you the story anyways. I remember seeing this boy all day long, and man, he was nervous. But me, being a hypnotherapist, I know how to help people get over nervous, energy and things like this, like really quickly and really easily, using certain techniques. And I kept feeling like, man, I need to go talk to that boy. Oh, I need to go talk to that boy. So eventually I did, but keep in mind, I did, even though I had already learned this lesson, I talked myself out of it a couple times and kept saying, oh, I'll do it later. Oh, I'll do it later. And so anyways, I go up to him and I said, hey, I just want to tell you this, technique. I want to give you this technique for the future because it's really helpful. And so I gave it to him. I do not know the results of that, but the fact that I felt so pulled to go and tell a stranger and him out of the hundreds of people that happened to be there, I know that he needed to hear that day. So next time that you have some weird thing, and I'm talking weird, right? Because I didn't think that up. So when it's something that is very odd, something that you normally wouldn't do, then you can pretty much guarantee yourself that it's not coming from you and that it is coming from the divine love. Because you are an earth angel, my darling. And sometimes the divine needs to use you and your earth angel energy to help somebody else when it can be useful. Just like the time that my friend is in the grocery store and she felt like she needed to buy this bouquet of flowers, and she thought, this is so weird, I don't buy flowers, but she just felt so intuitively pulled to go and buy these flowers, and so she did. She leaves the grocery store and she goes out into the parking lot and she sees a woman crying in the parking lot, and this same thing that told her you need to go and buy these flowers said you need to go and give these flowers to this woman who's crying in this car. And she was like, think about that, put yourself in that position. How are you feeling when you're going to go and you're going to give these flowers to somebody that's crying in the car, right? You're like, I hope that I'm doing the right thing. I hope I'm not making it worse. I hope this lady's okay. Who knows what's running through your mind at that time? But she listened to that guidance and she went and she gave that woman the flower. She said, hey, I felt like God was telling me that I needed to buy these and then I needed to bring them to you. So these flowers are here for you. And so this woman, obviously, starts crying more because she said, well, today is my anniversary, and my husband always would buy me a dozen red roses like this woman had just bought and given to this woman. But this was the first anniversary that she had without him because he had passed. So what would have happened had that woman ignored that and not bought those flowers? Well, that woman would be crying in the parking lot. She would feel sad and lonely, and she wouldn't have had that reassurance that, hey, he's still here with me. I'm going to be okay. He's still reaching out to me, letting me know that he's okay, even though he's not here visibly with me anymore. So when we listen to these things, we then become that earth angel, and we then become that blessing to that other person. So it is so important that when you have something come to you and you feel like, I feel like I need to do this. Maybe you have something right now that you feel like you've needed to do something for a while. It is so important that you do that thing. Because that thing can be a blessing to somebody else. And I want you to think about the karma that will come back to you. That perhaps in the future you will have some time of need and somebody will come and they will provide those dozen roses to you when you need it the very most, when you feel like all hope is lost and when you're feeling like you are so alone in the world, and someone will come up and they will show you you are not alone. We are here for you. We are all connected. We are all one. Because when you are a blessing to someone else, you will bring blessings upon your own household. Now, I know that sometimes it can be really difficult. It can be really difficult to follow those intuitive hits, because some people live in fear of embarrassment, or thinking like, what if I'm wrong? What if I go up and I just completely embarrass myself in front of this person, or whatever it happens to be? And I'm just going to tell you, it does not matter. It does not matter what somebody else thinks in their head. If you go up there and you embarrass yourself in front of somebody else, who gives a crap about that? It does not matter. When you go to the end of your life and you think back on your life, you will not regret doing the things that you feel intuitively pulled to do. And when you do these things that you intuitively feel pulled to do, and you have the belief that, you know what, I only had this strange, weird thought because the divine loves me so much, and when you go and you take out that act and you go and be that earth angel for that person, however it happens to be, maybe it is just words, maybe it is literally a smile. Maybe it's going up and giving somebody a hug. Maybe it's paying for somebody's groceries at the store when you feel guided to do this. Only when you feel guided to do this. Why is it that sometimes these things pop into your head and sometimes they don't? This is the internal guidance system, because we can only live in the right now, in the this moment, my darlings, only in the right now. And it is in the right now that the divine will show you exactly what it is that you need to do, which is why I'm recording this for you here right now, because I felt like, oh, I need to make some recordings here this morning. And so this is what I'm doing for you in the here and the right now, in the this moment. Now, when I was on my enlightenment journey a couple years ago, and I'm walking down the road and I'm in these heightened states, and I know I spoke about this the other day, but I'm going to mention it again. And I'm walking down the road, and first of all, I'm going to tell you something else. So I had been walking barefoot in the forest, and it was this really nice soft dirt path, one of those ones that is like this, nice soft dirt that kind of like squishes underneath your feet, right? Because you're on the forest floor, so there's all this lichen, there's all the mycelium tracks going underneath your feet, and so it's nice and soft and squishy. And so grounding and having bare feet, like it feels friggin' heavenly walking on this path. So I was back there picking blueberries and whatnot, and so walking my dog. And so I'm walking on this path, and then I get off and I step onto the road, which is then sand. It's sand, and it's got some, little rocks in it, but it's mostly, it's leading down to the sand pits down at the end of this road. So I've come out of the little forest path, and I'm now on a more main road. However, it's up in the middle of nowhere, so nobody might even drive on that in one day. But here's the point of this. So I step out onto it, and I immediately think this. I think, oh, I don't like that. Because I had just been on this really soft, beautiful path, and now all of a sudden my feet are on this path, and they're feeling, the not soft ground underneath them anymore, but it's changed, it's sandy. And so I have this thought of, oh, I don't like that. And I'm immediately stopped from that thought by the divine. Thank you, divine, for this. And I'm told, you know what? This path might be very appreciated at some point, depending on where you were coming from. And so it came to me that, well, first of all, I could have been coming off the main road. What if I was, walking in bare feet on that road, and I have now come to this sand path? Well, this would be very welcome, because it would be an improvement from that other road that I had been on. And I realized in that moment that I was judging the path that I was walking on by saying, oh, I don't like this. And so I was stopped, because I'm in this enlightenment, and you cannot introduce anything like I just did when you are on that path and maintain that path of enlightenment. You cannot. So thank you, divine, for teaching me that lesson of, oh, I do need to appreciate this path. Why? I was hating on it for a second there, thinking, ooh, I don't like this, when I should have been thinking, oh, Here's this path. Yes, it does not feel as smooth under my feet, but thank you, Divine, for this beautiful path that is going to lead me down here to where it is that I'm wanting to go. And keep in mind, that path was not always cleared, and had this been however many years ago, I would have been trekking through the forest with absolutely no path underneath my feet at all. So what a blessing this path was. And so as I'm walking down this road, I don't know if it was that day or if it was another day, but I ask for more guidance, like, tell me something else. What should I be doing right now? And I'm then told, just keep walking. Which immediately I think, well, this is a freaking disappointing message. I was hoping for something profound. Tell me something about this. Tell me something about that. And I was immediately hit with disappointment, which only lasted approximately 1 second before the Divine said, I'm only telling you what to do in the right now, because I can only tell you what to do right now. And right now, you're out for a walk, and you just need to keep walking. And I thought, what a beautiful lesson that this is. Because sometimes we consume ourselves so much with the future and what's going to happen and all these things, and we're hoping for this and for that, and just tell me what's coming and blah, 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 blah. But this is not how it works. We are only told in the right now, in the this moment, exactly what it is that we need to do. And right now, if you're listening to this, you're probably supposed to be listening to this. In the right now. In the moment that you stop listening to this, something else will say, well, now it is time to go and do this. And when we listen to these intuitive guidances that we have, we will be led in the right path. You can guarantee that. So if you would like to be a blessing to someone else, if you would like to be that earth angel for someone else, and you think, hey, that sounds nice, I want that to start happening to me. All you need to do is allow it, is to volunteer for it, is to pray and say to the Divine, Divine, thank you for loving me so much. I would love to be an earth angel for someone. Please, if somebody around me in my environment needs me to say something, needs me to do something, needs me in any way, please allow me to do that. I open up my energy to allow this because I would love to be a blessing to someone else. And all you need to do is set that intention, and then you just watch and you just wait and you just see what happens. Now, I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm not saying that anybody has to do this. But if you do something like this, I want you to know that the blessings that you bestow on other people by listening and by following that guidance will be returned back to you, and sometimes with interest. When you are a blessing to other people, you will be blessed. This is how it works. Electric thoughts go out, and through magnetism, they will be returned back to you. And so as we bless other people, and these blessings return back to us, I want you to know that when these blessings come back, all it does is allow you even more energy to bless people even more, and then even more is going to come back. And as you bless them even more is going to come back. And this cyclical cycle that you are in control of, because you can choose and you can decide, is a beautiful thing. Now, I know that we were talking about the criticism, and that sometimes when we criticize or when we complain, as I did on that path, and it might not seem like a big deal to you. But let me tell you, when you are in that state of enlightenment, you do not want anything to take that away. You are in such a heightened state that you do not care or want or really even need any food. You could go such a long time without it. You wouldn't care if you had to go and sit in the forest and live in a tree for the next however long. You wouldn't care, because you are in connection, you are in perfect alignment with the love that exists within every single thing And it is that that brings fulfillment. There is no material thing that you could buy. I could be living in a mansion up on the hill, going and driving my houseboat around the lake every day and sleeping in that and doing all these things, and I would have absolutely no fulfillment and no satisfaction. I would not be satisfied with my life if I was missing that divine connection, because you know that the only thing that we are truly seeking is that, because that is the only thing that can leave you feeling satisfied and fulfilled. There is nothing else that can provide that for you. And let me tell you, from the amount of mansions that I've been in and worked in and had in my life, there's nothing that comes from that. There's no satisfaction. There's no anything that comes from that, other than the fact that it's very nice that you can fit a lot of people in those places, and so you can have a lot of community in those places. It's wonderful. But the building itself, when you look at that mansion up on the hill and you think, oh, I want that, I'm telling you, there is no satisfaction that will come from owning that thing if you do not have connection with the divine. You will feel completely empty and unsatisfied no matter how many things you have around your house, in your house, on your property, no matter how many connections that you make, no matter how many people you hang out with and go out for coffee with and this or that. You will have absolutely nothing that will bring you any kind of satisfaction if you do not have that connection with the divine. It is the highest thing that you can possibly seek in this life. And once you've got it, once you've felt it, you will completely understand, and you will know, wow, that's better than any drug I've ever done. And I'm telling you, back in the day, man, I did a lot of drugs. And there's nothing, and I am telling you, there is nothing besides that pure connection with divine consciousness that will bring you any kind of satisfaction. So how do you get to it? Look at the things that are burying you and that are blocking you from that. My criticism of that sandy path was an immediate stop, correction. And so if you look at something as small as that I made this criticism, oh, I don't like that, underneath my feet, and it was making my feet feel sore at that time, and I was still judging it. And I was immediately told, you cannot do this. This path is a wonderful, beautiful thing, and it may be a very welcome relief to somebody depending on where they were coming from. And I understood, and I realized, and I knew at that moment, you can't criticize anything, and I'm saying anything. So let's say that you have somebody in your life, and you've been criticizing them a lot, and you're thinking, oh, this person's never going to get it together. You have cursed that person with your words by saying this person's not going to get it together. How should you then speak about this person? Let's say somebody's going through something and it's very difficult. How many times do you talk about that person and their troubles? What you are doing in that moment is you are cementing their troubles in. You are using your thought, you are using your words, you are using that waveform, you are sending it out, and through electromagnetism, it is going to be returned back to them and to yourself. The curses that you have sent out just by speaking about this person and their problems and their troubles will be returned back to you. This is karma. This is what brings order into chaos. Now, if somebody is going through something and you think, oh, whatever, here is how you bless that person. You speak only about them in the way that you view as heavenly. This person is so blessed, and what they are going through right now is a divine blessing that is going to show them the beautiful path that is going to unfold for them. And what they are going through right now is just an act of love, because it is going to show them what it is that they really want for themselves. It is making them so much stronger and so much more powerful so that they can step into their purpose. And when you speak about them in this way, you are now becoming a blessing to this person, and you will have no bad karma that is going to be returned to you. You will have blessings in the same form that you just sent them out that will be returned back to you. This is the same way that you cannot come and be healed of some physical ailment and all of a sudden, oh, you don't have this disease anymore, and then go on speaking about it. Because what you are doing when you are speaking about it is you are recreating it. How you would go about this after your healing would be, thank you, Divine, for my perfect health and healing. Because you would then understand that the only reason that that had been introduced into your body was because you had been vibrating in the low frequency energies, feeding that, therefore, air quotes, sinning. This is what Jesus is talking about when he would heal people and he would say, now go and sin no more, meaning don't keep doing that same thing that got you sick in the first place, meaning don't indulge in those negative, low vibrational energies. Don't talk about them, don't think about them, don't act upon them, but change it. And now if you have something in your life and it has not been ideal, some area of your life, it is because you have created this for yourself through your thoughts and through your beliefs and through your words that you're speaking about it. So let's say, well, yeah, but I'm really going through this. It's really happening to me. Oh, I believe you, honey. I know it is. But I'm telling you, the only reason why that has happened was because you held some belief within you that you thought about, that you spoke about, and that you acted upon, or something that you continually thought about. Maybe you didn't speak about it, maybe you didn't act on it, but that you continually allowed yourself to think about and create those wave patterns out there that then returned and brought that thing back to you. So if you want to have a heavenly life, then you need to have heavenly thoughts. And you might think that this is quite a difficult thing to do, and I understand that. It can be hard to do things that we haven't done before because we've created all these patterns in our thought, and sometimes we just have these automatic thoughts, and you're like, well, I don't want to be thinking about this thing, but for some reason I keep thinking about this thing. Trust me, I get it, I know. So here I'm going to tell you what to do if this is the case for you, if there's something you've been thinking about. And you don't want to be thinking about it because you know it's damaging you and you know that it's detrimental. First of all, let's set up the heavenly thought. So my heavenly thought was, puppies. Because they're freaking adorable, right? Can you think about puppies and not feel good? Maybe you can. Maybe you need to pick something other than puppies. But for me, it's a pretty simple fix. So anytime that this negative thought, well, it was actually, a thought of somebody that really upset me would come into my head years ago, I would take them and I would put that person up on a shelf and I would imagine sliding something in front of it, and then I would just think about those puppies. Because as soon as I put that upsetting thing up on the shelf and I visualized, I think I just made up a word, sliding something in front of it, not being able to see it anymore, and then thinking about the puppies, like even me doing that right now, I'm doing it right now in this second, I immediately feel uplifted and happy because I'm thinking about the freaking puppies again because they're so freaking adorable. And not just like one puppy, but like a whole pile of them, just a whole ton of adorable little puppies. It makes you feel good. So set up your heavenly thought, whatever it happens to be. It can be anything. It is something that brings a smile, joy, and happiness on your face. Pick it. And once you've got that heavenly thought, keep the same thing, right? Until, 7 years from now, maybe puppies won't bring a smile to your face. I don't know how that's possible, but it's possible, maybe, I don't know. So in however many years from now, keep this same thought until maybe it's not doing the thing for you anymore. But anytime that you have a critical thought of I don't like this, I don't want to, switch it, change it, and change it to something more heavenly that feels uplifting. And you will notice, and this will happen so quickly. Do this for 1 week. Do it for 1 week and notice how your life changes. And I'm not just saying that you'll feel better. Your life will change. It will change. You will notice. It will be different than it was previous. And how you're doing this is with a thought. We have free will. And our free will is to be able to choose those thoughts. And now I know sometimes it feels like, these thoughts are automatic. I feel like my thoughts are controlling me. They're not, honey. That's your free will. You have a choice. But it's just like exercising. It's just like anything like this. Are you going to be the world's best soccer player? Not if you don't practice. So if you haven't been practicing, getting control of your mind, having mind control, having control of your thoughts, then you can do that now. Begin. And if you suck at it when you start, totally cool. Just like when you probably first start playing soccer, you're probably not that great at it, but the more you do it, you're going to get better and better and better at it. So just keep practicing and do this for a week. See what happens. Any critical thought that you have, get rid of it. Immediately recognize, I had a critical thought. Document. How many times have you thought of that throughout the day? Maybe not that one particular thing. Maybe there's 50 different things that you've criticized throughout the day. And as you notice that, you're going to notice that as you clear those out, you end up with way less things in your life to criticize. Pretty soon, things come to you that you're like, oh, what a blessing, what a blessing, what a blessing. And those same amount of energies that you would have spent criticizing these things that were presented to you, you now are sending out as blessings, and those blessings are now being returned back to you, because what you previously were doing was sending out something critical, and the universe goes, oh, they like that. And so then they send you things to criticize, because they're like, well, you're sending out the vibration of criticism, so I obviously have to present to you things that you can criticize. This is how it works. This is how we bring order into chaos. And this is how the universal truth works, that what you send out, you get back. So practice sending out the love, and send it out always, 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 all the time, all the time, all the time, in the right now. Because you can only do it in the right now. And as you do it in the right now, things are going to change. And as they change, I want you to come back and I want you to comment on one of these videos and say, it happened to me. You're exactly right. It happened to me. And then go and then tell people, hey man, you want to improve your life? This is how you do it. Send out only love. Send out only love. And as you spread that good word to other people, and other people begin to do these things, you're going to notice that just everything just feels so wonderfully good. And you will be that gift, because you know what? Nothing bad happens to me. Nothing bad happens to me. So I could be in a group of people, and bad things maybe happen to these people all the time, but nothing bad happens to me. And by me being in that group and holding that space, nothing bad happens to those other people when I'm there in that space with them either. And you can be a blessing in that way. Why does that happen? Because I have that belief within me. And so all that I am seeing in my life is my beliefs made visible. And because I believe that only good and wonderful thing happens to me, because the divine loves me so very, 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 very much, this is what I experience in my life visibly. And it's a wonderful gift that I have given to myself, that has been given to me by the divine, but that has been given to me by understanding how it is that I had been creating my life, and understanding that it's in the right now, in the this moment, that we are creating our life by what vibration, what frequency we are currently holding right now. And I'm going to tell you, it gets easier and easier. Because pretty soon those things that you sent forth in the past stop presenting themselves to you as you change the way that you're thinking, and pretty soon you are presented with more beautiful things. But you just got to get used to it, because you sent forth criticisms and stuff in the past, and that karma is going to be returned back to you, and is being returned back to you right now, because that's how it works. So shift it and change it right now, and your future is going to be completely different than the past was. I love you all so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. You guys are all blessings to this earth. You are all wonderful earth angels, and I'm so thankful that you are here. We are creating an evolution of consciousness, and it is our ever-loving thought that is a transforming influence on this planet. We are creating an era of love and peace, and I'm so thankful that you are here, and that you are a part of this, and that you are a light and a transforming influence on this planet. Bless you, and I love you so very much, and I will see you tomorrow.